and now we have Amit's score here. This is really nice. Yeah, just really has a nice professional touch to it. And um, as with many of these Patreon entries at the lower levels, there is quite a bit more going on the on the next screen. If I were to flip it over, you would see that this arrangement goes all the way to the end. So it is really a wrench for me to not evaluate everything, but I will be a little flexible about the Brev entries, especially as some of the people who are supporting have supported me for years and years and years. So I'll be a little flexible there, but with these minim and semi-brev, dotted semi-brev entries, I have to really cut things off right where I said I would. So apologies about that, but they're just to let you know, especially with some of these more polished scores, the orchestrators have gone on and really done a great job in most cases. So let's take a look at this. It's a very cool score. Just a couple of things. We have 4 horns in F, and the way that this is scored, I would definitely not score it this way. First, and then third and fourth. I would really want the second player to be playing right alongside the first. And it's fine if the two of them are playing sixths, right? The way that this is scored out. That would be fine. So just give this lower line to the second, and then the third can play this middle line right in here. And that would create the best bond. But by putting that bottom line all the way out there on the fourth, I mean, there's no reason why the fourth player shouldn't be able to play that, but there's just less intimacy of harmony between the players, right? It's just like the first and the second have the most ideal bond in terms of really honing in that exact intonation. So you'll really get the best results if you score this with the lower player, the second. This line that you're giving to the fourth horn. If you score that as the second player, and I see what you're trying to do here. You're trying to avoid writing two voices, right? You want to write everything out so that it is intervals sharing the same stem, right? As opposed to just dropping in the second horn line, but you really got to do this right, okay? Okay. So that is one little notational bit of weirdness to fix. There was this other thing. I was thinking about it. Oh yeah, so it has to do with the duration of this pizzicato, right? So, I mean, you would have to say something like a pianissimo sostenuto, or SOS period, and you would not get a pizzicato that lasted to the end of the bar. So it really would be better just to have these as quarter notes or maybe as half notes. But there is no way that this pizzicato, even with the cello, is going to last for 2 bars at even at dotted half note equals 60. So that is just not going to really last. I would say this could be marked. If I were going to do an approach like this, I just really wanted that to last, I would mark this as dotted half note, and then these as quarters, okay? Because you've already got the sustain inherent in the clarinets. There's just no reason for you to be trying to. The sound of the sustain is going to get swallowed by the sound of the clarinet family, correct? So there's just really no reason to overdo it here, right? That just confuses the players. It doesn't really matter to them, but yeah. Maybe mark mutes at the beginning for all the section, right? And then here, you got no room for them to, I mean, you've got like just a fraction of a second for them to take off their mutes. And I mean, yes, it's possible with the new mutes that they've got that just have like a really quick release, or is just like a little rubber band that can be flicked off. But I mean, isn't it better to just try to work with the player a little bit? So I don't really hear anything in this texture here to which the sound of the mutes really lends itself, right? Because you're doubling everything, right? It's you've got a very integrated harmonic texture right in here. So there really isn't anything that kind of stands out in that texture except for maybe the upper line here in terms of mutes. So it's just, yeah, to sacrifice it for that quick change. I should actually think that the place to change the mutes would be right here and just continue on for a little while. But yeah, I know you get a different quality right in here when you go to mezzo forte. So yeah, yeah, it is a tricky thing, isn't it? So, I mean, if you really are going for like quick release and you're relying on that, what I would say is just, mark all of these pizzicatos as quarter notes, and then in the rest here you can flip over to the mute right in here, and then just flip right out of it right in there, and then just see if the players will go along with that, right? Some players will just do it with completely unflappable. They will flick it on and off, and they will not even care, And then others will say, hey, you're kind of not giving us much time there. And then yet others will say nothing and then complain about it at the pub after the gig. All right. Those are the funnest stories to hear. I'm not sure why you did the grayscale here, like sort of hiding dynamics. I mean, if you really want the clarinets to play mezzo piano, shouldn't you tell them? Same thing here, mezzo forte. If this is going to be that big of a change in here, shouldn't you tell the player? I just don't understand why. Okay, so just talking about that orchestration, with the clarinet family, then adding bassoons, and then you've got over that you've got the first oboe, then adding on flute with the overlapping tone right in there, and then when you get to here, you go to octaves in the English horn. Okay, that's all very, very cool. Octave English horn and flute, they can actually, that's the point where you can really see the relationship between oboe family instruments and flute family instruments. They do have a relationship that can sound really beautiful. Just I've spoken before about the relationship of oboe to piccolo as being a very beautiful one, and one that has a wonderful ring to it. And the relationship of English horn to flute has that same ring, has that same sense of support and kind of open resonance. So that it's really lovely to see that used right in there, and it works really nicely. And of course, the harp will be completely audible right in there. I think all of this stuff is really unnecessary. What if you just had everything marked pianissimo that was a background texture, and then just mark this piano? I mean, what's the need to mark it mezzo piano? It just like is kind of a blah sound. So piano crescendo and back, and then piano here, crescendo to mezzo forte there, right? And you get just a much more delicate sound. Yeah, same thing here. This could start off piano, crescendo to mezzo forte, and then you're actually going somewhere. You know what I mean? And this can still be, I mean, maybe you could go up to piano right in here, right? The players in real life will blend, and they will also play out solo where they need to. You do not have to worry about about the players being like a sound set, being like the sound sets that you have to get to do things, right? They will know what to do, right? If they have a featured line and they are marked the same dynamic as everybody else, they will play out. Okay, and it's the same thing here. Like you've got mezzo piano on some of these featured lines, and piano in the strings. Well, of course, the winds are just going to play right over that, just like roll right over the strings like a truck. So better to really have everybody marked piano, right? And just trust the players. They'll be fine. I mean, even in this, like the way that you had it set up, I could feel the imbalance in the dynamics. All right, but yeah, but you've got some nice upper, like sort of throat tone bass clarinet stuff, and that is really a beautiful place. It's just very delicate, and then the bassoons reaching up high, playing in octaves with the clarinets. That's all very cool. Yeah, so it's really the glue right in here though is the strings, so they can't be marked down from the winds. Okay. The one little sticking point that I would say is that like the F is a harmony above, but it is not the line, right? Da 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 dum da 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 is the actual line, right? It's not da 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 dum. The F is just a harmony point that it goes over the da da below, right? Anyway, small point. And then dun 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 dun. This would be kind of a cool place to throw in some like mezzo staccato, like I did in my arrangement, because that's kind of what it ends up sounding like in the mock-up. And then here we've got mezzo staccato in the wind. Nice call and response dynamics. Okay, and that's all nicely scored. Okay, and then we've got our bum 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 bum, and this is all fine. So yeah, so I mean, there's really not a lot that I could say about this that like do this, don't do that. Mostly like it's just a matter of kind of dynamics. You've got the instincts for scoring right in here. I don't think you need to go A2 here with the clarinets. All right, I think you could just that could all be single voices. And it's kind of cool that you're using sarrusophone right here, just for this kind of grunty little thing. Here is where I would throw in a little bit of pizzicato. You know what I mean? Because I just feel that that grunty sound of the sarrusophone. I mean, it is very grunty, and very bright. So just watch out for that. Okay, or maybe like instead of mezzo staccato, like just have that just a regular staccato, because like it kind of holds on to it and kind of goes right, as opposed to just bump bump. Okay, so otherwise don't really have a whole lot of critique. Very cool score, and really like I've studied this a couple times now and just really enjoyed looking at it. So thank you so much for your entry and for supporting the channel. And now on to our third entry at the minimum level.